How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we've got another deck profile, and this going over my yellow Kidku list. 'Cause I know when I put up played it for locals a fair few weeks ago, and I did get a fair few comments asking for the list and stuff, and I feel with the with the upcoming ban list change, with the release of set 21, this can actually still be a very good one, because from the initial look at that list, the yellow looks to be in a very good position because, well, I didn't get anything touched on the list and was very strong beforehand. And with the change in like the gatekeeping decks like Sin, Gamma, and SS4 being removed from the format, every decks can now grow out. Like there's a lot of benefits to the new ban list and very few negatives, which is quite nice. And I thought it'd be good to go over the list because once also people ask for it, and also because I feel it could be very like a nice one for it, and it is one of my favorite decks and quite a fun one as well. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I'll go over the list. You can just, if you want to just check out the list, just go ahead to the description, click the link to the list on Deck Planet, the best deck building website and only deck building website in the game, and just get the list in there. If you want to understand the list, what are the decisions, the cards, stuff like that, you can continue to watch and you get a bit more information out of that. But before we do get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly because we're on our way to 1,000 subs. We're trying to get there by the end of the year, and we've even just hit 700, which is quite fantastic. So I'll do another giveaway, even though the one's just finished. Which shout outs to Johnny for winning, and we'll get another one out in a bit. So you can get notified to when my videos do drop by clicking the notification bell, and that'll let you know when my videos are about, so you can go and watch them or know they are about to go watch them in a bit. But with that one way, let's go and check out the list, being the yellow Kidku. So we'll start off like we do always with the leader. So leader goes from Son Goku to flipping over to Uncontrollable Great Ape. Son Goku Returns. This is a reboot of the set, I think it's set 4. Yellow Goku flips over into an ape. That was I don't think it was a very good deck, like a good leader. I think it was a kind of okay, revolved around Bulma and stuff like that. But I don't think it ever really saw much play. But then Bandai decided to reboot it and make it a lot better, which is very nice because it is actually now a very strong deck. And also, it's one of those nice ones where it's a starter deck, so it's quite easy. Just pick up 2 starter decks, put them together, get a few other cards like staples from, and then Bob's your uncle, you've got a good deck. So with the leader, it's quite nice, and on the front side, it's got a nice little thing of not needing to attack to gain value, because its way to gain value is through activate main, which is once per turn. Look at the top 10 cards of your deck, add up to 1 yellow Earthling only card with energy cost of 1, or 1 yellow Unison with a specified cost of 1 among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So you've got your Unison that's in the starter deck to grab, you've got some very, very good Earthling only cards, even some that are quite good tech choices as well that you can grab off it. So top 10 means you're searching over a quarter of your deck, because remember when you start, if you're going for a 50 card deck, you put in 8 cards to life and 6 cards to your hand, meaning that left in your deck is only 36 cards, which means you're looking over a quarter of your deck. Yeah, because a quarter of your deck is 9, so you're looking just over a quarter of it to find a card. So you shouldn't often whiff, but I know people have whiffed. I've seen people whiff like 2 times in a row with it, which can be quite harsh. But it shouldn't be that often. But if it does happen, it is annoying. So just remember how to build your deck. Remember to incorporate that. And then we've got the Awaken on it as well, which is one that has like in the new kind of series where most leaders have a normal awakening plus their alternative awakening. And for Goku, it is if you're left with 4 or less, or you have 1 or more yellow cards in play with either Bulma or Yamcha in their card names, which is very easy to do because you search them from the activate main. You may draw 1 card, switch one of your energy at active mode, then take your life down to 6 and flip over. So remember now in the Awaken, it doesn't say about flipping over, it's part of the mechanic now. And then we flip over to the Great Ape, so Goku then transforms, and now your way to gain advantage is for the auto. So now it's an auto to gain advantage, which is the cost of it is to choose one of your cards switch to the rest mode. It could be any one of your cards, be energy, unison, battle card, field card, you name it. Just one of your cards switch to the rest mode, and then when it attacks, choose all of your opponent's non-energy cards, switch in the rest mode, and then choose one of 2 options. You either get to draw 1 of them, or add up to 1 yellow Great Ape Son Goku childhood card from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. So you either get to search for like some good targets, so that's nice, or you get just draw a card. And the great thing about this is that you get a nice little lock with this, which we'll go over when we get to the Z deck, where you can lock your opponent's leader down turn after turn after turn, which if your opponent's a leader which needs to swing to gain a value by like drawing and stuff, this deck's quite a fun way to just like hold that off and just drain their resources while you establish more and more assets. And then it also has now an activate battle, which is how you charge the energy quite well, because that's one thing with decks now, like in Zenkai series, they've got like Z mechanics, and they've got to have like Bandai is kind of doing a good job in making sure they're like charging Z energy well enough. It's only with like Sin and SS4 that they actually made it so it was charged Z energy way too easily, way too quickly, way too oppressively that and then they left every deck so just you can charge a little bit quite well, but not too rapidly. And that's for the activate battle, which is on the turn. If it's your turn, so just you can only activate it during your turn. You choose one mono yellow Earthling card with 5k combo power, and you drop in the combo with its skills negated for the battle. So it means you get during your turn, on no matter what attack it is, you get the free combo of 5k Earthling, a 5k combo powered Earthling from your drop, which you've got plenty of targets for that. It's very, very good. And yeah, so that is the leader. So quite nice. Like you, very good way to like just search without even like turn one if you can't attack. You've got a way to gain value, which is very nice. Like it's not too many decks that have that. And then a very easy weakening condition. Just play your one drop Yamcha or Bulma card, and then you can awaken. So you can control when you want to awaken, and then yeah, very nice. Also, the good thing about this, when the awaken leader attacks, is that when you choose order non-energy, it means battle cards, unisons, fill cards, and leader. So you get put the leader in rest if it's got like say blocker. Any of the battle cards with blocker, rest, unisons, and stuff like that. This was like really nice when it came to the Boo unison because you can make swing with this and then make it rest before it could potentially block, so they can't block with it and then use its minus effect, which is quite cool. So that's the leader. So I hope that makes sense about the leader. Very, very nice one. And then we go over to the decks. We'll start off with the unison we get first, which is Bulma, Stalwart Adventure. So very nice thing about this unison is that it can act as a blocker as well if you want to. So it's a one specific cost yellow unison with 1k power, so that's not too bad, but it does have two marker skills, so a +2, so you're getting quite a few markers on this each turn, which is nice. It's nice to have +2 effects. And then you also got a -1 to use, which is how you get blocker. But with the effect, it's got permanent, where if your leader is a yellow Son Goku childhood card, which is this one, yellow non-Great Ape Son Goku childhood cards in your battle area gain 5k power. So like your little Goku childhood cards gain 5k power, which is relevant because so I think most of them are all 10, or the main ones are 10, and making them 15k using this effect. Just what's on board, either player's turn, makes it so they got better chances of surviving when blocking or defending, or even pushing through damage as well. And then with the marker effects, the +2 is if your leader is a yellow Z leader or a yellow Great Ape Son Goku childhood card, play up to one yellow non-Great Ape Son Goku childhood card with an entry cost of 3 or less from your hand. Now, some really good targets. There's only really one. No, there's not many really good targets. There's one very, very good target all the way back for set 3, and it's one that used to see a lot of play back when we had things like Shigesh, but yeah, now it's very good in this, and like this deck is going to be like most of the cards in this deck are going to have barrier because that's what yellow seems to have for some of its archetypes. Just how barrier. Well, it depends because it depends how Bandai feel. Some have barrier because why not, and some, even though they're similar, will just be not having barrier because Bandai like to not treat things fairly. But yeah, that's how like that. You can free play things off the +2, which is very nice, and access removal of the Goku, which we'll see in a bit what target is. And then the auto, which is a -1, is just when your opponent attacks, which is card active mode, and it gains blocker for the turn. So even if you rest this card for one of the many effects in this deck that require resting a card, you can then use it as a blocker by just taking a marker off and put it in there. And you remember you can do that on attack. So you can't do it onto attack. So if your opponent attacks, you can't use it to block for that attack because it doesn't have blocker when the auto resolves. Well, it doesn't have the blocker when it has a chance to block. So it needs to have blocker when the attack starts to trigger, not like in the middle of the battle. So you can use it to gain blocker, but you can't block that attack it's used on, but then you can block the one after. So do remember that. And we play 4 copies of those because it's a very good unison, and it gives access to quite a few good yellow options that require a unison, which we'll see in this a bit. And then we've got the other card that helps us awaken, being Yamcha, Dastardly Bandit. This is the main way how we're gaining, well, this is a good way to help keep consistency, and also the main card we're going to be resting for to get some good effects off. So it's a 1 cost with barrier. So there we go, with barrier, and it's got 2 autos. The second one is limit 1, but the first one is not. So with the first one, it's when this card is played, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add its one Son Goku childhood or Bulma card, both yellow or one yellow unison with a special cost of 1. Among to your hand and shuffle your deck. So you get to look at the top 5 cards to find either when you Goku targets or a Bulma, or one of the Bulma cards, being the battle card or the unison, which is very nice. So a very nice search here, and ideally the card you want turn 1. And then the other auto, which is limit 1, which is going to be the main reason why you rest this and can get more advantage off this, is if your leader is a yellow Z leader or a yellow Son Goku childhood card as the requirement. When this card is switched to rest by one of your leader skills, which switches card to active mode, then choose one of your yellow Son Goku childhood cards in rest mode that hasn't attacked this turn, switch it to active mode, and if you do, draw 1. So remember, when you evolve on top of a card, it becomes treated as a brand new card because it is a new card that's entered the board. And if it's a brand new card and it's in rest mode, then it hasn't attacked that turn. You can switch to active for this, and normally you're going to evolve one of your Gokus, and then swing you to lead the rest this, and then this will restand, so that way it can't be attacked into, and it's safe. And it can actually be comboed off with if you're going for a kill swing, and then at the very least, then if you want to get you get just basically a draw or whatever you want from your leader, and get this restored without really losing anything or having anything switch the rest that you didn't want to. And then if you want to get the full benefit, you can switch one of your Gokus that hasn't attacked, that is in rest mode, to active mode, and get an extra draw. Like, it's a very easy way to get the extra draw, which we'll go over in a little bit. And we play 4 copies of those because once again we want targets to make sure we don't whiff off the top 10. And it's also an Earthling card, so it gets that free way to combo if you've got any in drop from the Activate Battle skill on the lead. So that's that target. Then we've got 2 copies of Bulma, Searching for Adventure. This is another nice little target to help you awaken, and also got some use as well. So it's got permanent where if your leader is a yellow Z leader with Son Goku in his card name, this guy gets 14k power for the turn, making it 15k 15k attacker. So that's during either player's turn as well, which is quite nice. 15k for 1. This got 2 autos. First one is the auto where this card is played, draw a card, so it's a cantrip. And the other one gets a little bit benefit if you rest it, like most of these cards do, which is auto once per turn. Discard 1 card from your hand. When this card is switched to so discard 1 card from your hand is the cost. When this card is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, draw a card and switch this card to active mode. So you can get an extra draw off this, which is kind of nice, like fill out your hand, and also then have this restored after you rest it. So it's another one like the Yamcha where you can rest this and then it restands itself, and also gets a little benefit of drawing a card, which is quite cool. So we get 2 copies of these because it's not that relevant, but it's still a nice another target for the leader, and also a way to help filter if need be. And also another Bulma card to help trigger Awakening if you don't see these 2. Then we've got 2 copies of Chi-Chi, Melee Patriarch. Like most people know from watching my channel that I did used to really hate blue. Kind of I warmed up to it a bit more, but still, it's not my most favourite colour. But I did always used to like having main deck blue hate, and Chi-Chi is one of those good ones, where it's the hate for D-Magic, which is one of the like staple blue negates in the deck, and you want to have this down to help to try and they can still use it, D-Magic, just not get the full benefit, but this just helps stop them off from getting full benefit. And thanks to it being just an Earthling, usually just being an Earthling, no Saiyan or anything like that mixed in, it can be searched off your leader's front side as well, from the top 10. And it's a nice one because it's a cantrip barrier, and it has that barrier hate as well, where if they want to untap energy using a counter skill, if they do that, you can then get to crit life from them, and also drop 1 energy, which is very nice. So we play 2 copies of that because I feel any more is a bit too many, and remember it's always searchable off your lead. Then we go into the Goku targets, so the first one being Explosive Spirits on Goku. So this card used to be amazing and like very highly used when we used to have the beginning of the game with Sagesh, because Sagesh was a super combo where when you combo with it, if your life at 4 or less and your leader's yellow, you're allowed to play out from your hand a 3 cost or less Saiyan card from your hand. And what do you know? This card is a 3 cost or less Saiyan card with barrier and blocker, and a nice little auto, which when this card is played, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards, in rest mode and KO it. So when your opponent was trying to go for a kill swing back in the day with a battle card, you can then just go Sugesh, play this out, pop the battle card, battle ended. There you go. And that is why Sugesh is banned. But outside of being a barrier blocker and a 10k, so it gives you a leader at 5k, the Bulma gives it 5k. He's also got a nice little auto at the end of your turn, so it's just kind of active mode. So this is very nice, that having that protection and barrier and being a free play off this is the card you free play off your Unison. So free play this out, pops Link in rest mode. It's then 15k thanks to the Unison. You swing with it, and then at the end you can restand it, so you can block with it, and then it can be attacked into as well because it's in active mode. So getting loads of these out on the board is very, very annoying, and also it's very nice removal because you can always just switch everything to rest mode with your leader too. So play 4 copies of this because when you're a nice little beat 6. And then we have another Goku card we play, and that is 4 copies of Son Goku, 2 lands unknown. So this card is not a free cost, so it can be free played off your Bulma, but it does still get a benefit from the Bulma Unison by getting that 5k, so become at 15k as well. And it is unique, unlike the other ones, you can only have one of these on the board at a given time. And it's got barrier, like most of the cards in this deck, so nice self protection, but it also has dual attack as well, so unlike the Explosive Spirit, where it can essentially attack and then block at the after as well, because it gets restudied in the turn, this card gets dual attack, so you can attack twice as your more pressure Goku. He's also got a permanent where if your opponent has 2 or more energy, you reduce the skill cost to evolve skills on yellow Son Goku childhood cards in your hand by 1 yellow and 1 energy. If their card names don't match the cards on any cards in your battle area. So if you haven't already got an ape on the board, if you've got ape in your hand that you haven't already got on the board, you can evolve, and your opponent's got 2 more energy, you can evolve it for 2 less energy, at least one of them being yellow, which is very nice. And that's relevant because we do have an ape that we do evolve in this deck, which is very good. And it also has an easy way to come out for 1 energy, being activate main, which is limit 1, so you can only drop 1 of these a turn. And do bear in mind it doesn't have protection as well and deflect, but then it does have barriers, so unless it's not stopping it from coming into play, which some counterplays will, it's not going to be affected by like the after effects of like the auto, like charismatic and stuff like that. And the effect is by paying 1 yellow, switching one of your battle cards or unisons, both yellow with Bulma in his card name, to rest mode, you can play this card from your hand. So that's why we have the Bulma target, so you can use this you mainly use this to rest your unison to play it out. So you don't have to trigger the Bulma or have that battle card that's quite vulnerable on board. And then, yeah, play this out. So that is the Goku. The Goku cards aren't apes. Then we have the Goku card that is an ape, and that is the Great Ape Son Goku Instincts Unleashed. You play 4 copies of this because it's just a very nice big beat stick, and also can be very useful as well. So it's a 5 cost for 25k power, so that's sweet spot. Being that if the opponent wants to out combo it at a 15k base, they have to use a super combo and another card to get out of it as easy as possible. And it has double strike and blocker, so that's very nice, so it can defend you and also put some pressure with double strike. And it does have an evolve skill which is limit 1, so you only can drop 1 of these a turn, and it does require 2 yellow and 1 of any energy, makes you draw a card and goes over any Son Goku childhood card. So remember, with the lands unknown, you'll be evolving this for 1. Gotta be a cost effective kind of thing in here. And it's got 2 autos. First one isn't limited 1, but the second one is. First one is when this card is played, choose one of your balanced battle cards and rest mode and KO it. So nice bit of removal. I can things in rest mode like yellow always does. The other one is auto limit 1 if your leader is a yellow Son Goku childhood card or a yellow Z leader. When this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, play up to 1 yellow Son Goku childhood card with energy cost of 4 or less that doesn't have Great Ape Son Goku, or Great Ape from your drop. So essentially, you're not either going to be bringing back out one of these 2 Gokus here from your drop, and normally you're always going to have a target because you have a card underneath it, so if it gets removed, then it's not going to be playing the card from underneath it, which is quite cool. Which is normally going to be the lands unknown, so that way you can evolve another one again next turn with the cheaper cost thanks to the permanent. So that is that. That is for those, and then we have my nice little tech choice. I was running that as one of the trial and thought was quite fun, quite useful, and that is Son Goku Time to Fight. So this is from, I can't remember what this is from. I think it's from the Broly starter deck that we had like Paragus stuff in. I think that was 2 colors, but essentially it's a 4 cost with 10k. So unfortunately, it's not a childhood Goku; it's a BR Goku. So no really interaction with any of this. But it has got a nice little effect because it's got a permanent where if your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3, and it's very easy to get that skill reduced because your leader can always swing and rest all your opponent's cards apart from their energy, as long as it doesn't have barrier, and so it's going to be very easy to pull off. And it's got nice little synergy with the Explosive Spirit as well, because it does have an auto when you play this card. You can't play Son Goku Title Fight for the duration of the turn, but it's okay, you're only going to play 1 at a time. And also the activate main is what I really like about it, and that is place this card in Sonorous Drop, so you're going to attack with it first, put some pressure on, and then use the effect. So drop it as the cost from your battle area. Choose 1 green or yellow Saiyan with energy cost of 3 or less and 10k or less power from your drop in play, and play it in rest mode, and you can only play battle cards that are green or yellow and no other colour for the duration of the turn. So if you do want to overrun, do it before this, but then yeah, you won't have time for it, but then yes, this locks you into only playing green yellow, which is fine because you're a yellow deck, you don't really care about that. But it's very nice because you can play this out for 1. Like if you've lost any Swift Explosive Spirit Gokus at all the turn, you can't get them back out, or you want it back out, you can always pay this down for 1, swing of it, combo up if you need to, put some pressure on, and then use the effect, sack him off for free by sending to the drop, and play out the Swift Explosive Spirit. And it doesn't come out with the skills negated, so it'll come out pop link in rest mode, the Goku. Then in the turn it'll restand and then be able to use it as a block as well, which is quite cool. So I played 2 copies of these just to see how it work, and I thought it was quite a fun thing. Like you can always cut this if you want to, but I do like the little tech option of being able to recycle useless Explosive Spirits, especially if you block with them and then lose them as well. So then we go on to 2 copies of Shin General. Cold Heart Shadow Dragon. This is just a staple in most yellow decks, well, in all yellow decks nowadays, because it's got barrier, blocker, unique, and deflect. So it's got all that protection. You can have one copy on the board at a turn, which is quite good. And its cat players just play this card, draw 1, and it's reduced by 2 if you have 7 or more cards in your areas like energy, Z energy, battle card, and drop. So it's very easy to do, and it's got a nice effect of if your opponent plays a card, you can choose that card and negate its skills and restand this card, then negate its skill for the turn. To kind of get like a dual blocker and some effect negation as well. I'm going to play 2 copies of this because the kind of engine is a lot larger. The engine in this deck is a lot larger than most yellow decks, so it's not so yellow good stuff. It's more focused on the archetype and his little his little deck focus. So you've got less slots for generic cards, but you can always up it. Like, as I said, it's time to fight is my own first little check that I like, so you can always take that out and put more staples in and stuff. Then we've got 4 Riposte, nothing more to say about it. Riposte, just a fantastic floodgate, and really like at most decks need floodgates to help deal with like kind of decks that could be quite aggressive. We got 3 copies of SS Vegito Overwhelming Might. It's not too difficult to charge the energy in this, because you need to really get 2 at a given time for things, and it's just a really nice floodgate. Like it's probably not going to be as like this was normally like amazing for the previous format because of SS4 Gogeta. So when your opponent dropped the 8-drop Gogeta, dropping this, so make it so they have to rest a card without, because when the 8-drop Gogeta attacks, you can't hit anything except super combo skills for that turn. Well, from when it attacks, you can't activate anything that's not super combo. And so you can't use mecha against it to rest it, so you need something to be played beforehand, which is mecha in a counterplay, to reduce the to make it so they got to rest a card each time they want to swing. So it made it so normally they could just drop it, clear your board. This made it so they had unless they had like a wide board, they weren't able to clear your board, and they had to just swing straight to lead to kind of get the most value out of it. And you do play 3 copies of this. You can kind of cut this down. I think I will be cutting this down in future. Maybe put this down to 2 because it's still good, and then could put in some more like Ever choices, maybe a Never Sin and stuff like that. But for now, 3 seems like a decent choice if you have 3. If not, once again, you can cut this down. Then we got 2 Metacooler Infinite Terror. It's very easy going to your Z lead in this deck. Just need to get a 4 life, and it's very easy to do that. And also you can play, for this focus of the deck, you'll be spamming out Z battle cards as well. So all you need for this to make it as a free negate from your hand is have a Z battle card, yellow Z battle card in play, or a Z leader. And as I said, we're going to be focused on spamming out Z battle cards. So this can easily be live. We play 2 copies because 2 seems fine. You can put more copies if you feel like you want more copies. But remember, it's only limit 1 in the counter play. And sometimes you can draw too many too quickly without having a 1 on. So you can always switch these ratios between Vegito and Cooler to be in 2 Vegito and 3 Meta Cooler. Then we got our super combos being 3 Krillin because Krillin is just the best series of super combos. The set 11 ones just the best ones. Unless you're playing green, you're probably playing Paragus instead because Paragus is just fantastic. And then we got the secret rare as well going with this. You can play different secret rares now. Like you can play different options. If you can't afford the Gohan or like things like Cooler and stuff, there are other options. But I feel the better one is this Piccolo because you've still got the ability on the lead if you go on the Z lead to be able to give it double strike and a power boost. So you can use that as a way to finish off with the leader. And yeah, having a 30k super combo that is essentially requires no energy because you can easily get things in rest by swinging the 8 first and then Z-Awakening and doing that stuff. Using this is a great way to finish games with a built-in champer to your lead. It's very good. So that's our super combo lineup. And then we have our last battle card being our Overrun, being SS4 Vegeta, Heated Fighting Spirit. Now the problem with this deck is that most of its removal is more in the form of cards in rest mode. So if your opponent doesn't have cards in rest mode or like untaps them and leaves them there, it's going to be quite difficult. So we've got the Vegeta in here because it's a nice bit of removal. You could switch out for Secret ID, but I like to do the normal thing of siding one, like between this Heated Spirit and Secret ID, siding the other ones if you need it as an option. You can always side in the different options for like some because they have their niches. This one's better for just single target removal of any kind of cost, whereas Secret ID is like a quite wide removal but of a lower cost at 6 costs or less. Therefore, I prefer to go for this one because it's a nice free overarm, warps one card and like nice for getting rid of secret rares that are out as well. And then yeah, just getting a 30k swinging, which is quite nice. Then we have the rest of the cards being extra cards. We have Power Super Saiyan. Nothing really to say about this. It's limited for a reason. Just that good and just helps you like get more cards in rest mode. Or you can even use as a negate as well and just replace itself. Then we have 2 copies of Release from Evil because you are like a focus. You do have a focus on your unison, getting it out so you can spam out the explosive spirits. Just keep that like playing those turn after turn and get attacks and then use them as block. And Release from Evil is a very nice card and use just to stop the card from restanding after. So if your opponent's got a triple attacker or a dual attacker, making it so it's not restanding, and also negating the skills off it. So yeah, it can't really do anything for the rest of the turn. It's quite handy. Like it's not as powerful with Gamma gone, because the main thing with this is just have this, so if Gamma want to swing with the lead, try and get greedy, you can then shut off the effect of the Gamma leader, so it can't get the free energy back, and then play free energy back down. But it's still a good card either way, so I still like this with any yellow unison strategy. Then we have 2 copies of Tyrannical Blow. You can put more of these in. As I said, you can take out some of the staples to put more extra cards in, facilitate for Mecha and for use good cards, but you can always side more as well. And Tyrannical Blow is a very good one for Floodgates. The only ones that don't really hit is the one for Anto 21 and I think it's Oceanus because that's all in the counterplay skill. So yeah, well, and anything like that that's in the counterplay skill, the effects in, not an auto like some of them are. But yeah, 2 Tyrannical Blow. We've got 2 Time Magic. This is very just handy, just actually being a hard negate, unlike Release from Evil, but also stopping like multiple attackers. Well, cards that can attack multiple times from doing a thing as well, which is quite good. That brings to the last one, being Realm of the Gods, Black Kamehameha. Like, there's no token negate in there. Like token negate can be problematic because it wasn't as great in the current meta, or the meta before the ban list, because of the fact that you had decks like Sid and SS4, which is just red, just negative tokens, not really care about it, and they became less useful. But now with those gone, they could be more useful. But then again, yeah, like I do like Realm of the Gods Kamehameha because you can always block one of your Gokus, then rest more cards, get a draw. So it depends, like the extra cards lineup you can change with how you feel. I just like this little lineup so far. You could put a few more in, like I said, you could take out the tech choice like Goku Turn the Fight. but it's all up to you. Like, this deck's quite flexible, and it's like most yellow decks are, it's flexible in its extra card slots and also its tech choice and its staples. You can play it however you want, but this I like to keep my decks as low to 50 as possible to keep it consistency, and this is what I have for the main. So that is the main deck. Then we go into the Z deck. So we've got 4 cards that we're running, and so one of the Z lead, because I only really use this as a way to finish, because it's got a nice effect. Well, it doesn't need much. It needs 2 Z energy, and then to pay 1 yellow when you last 3 or less, and you send 1 Great Ape Son Goku childhood card from your drop to your warp. So just warp an ape, which is very easy to get in there, and then you just drop it off in your lead, and you then become a 20k crit lead, which is quite cool. But normally you're going to be swinging with your ape, getting the effect to wrestle your opponent's cards that aren't their energy, and then drawing a card or searching for an ape. And then, yeah, if you don't attack with evolve before attacking, then you can just use the auto of choosing one of your cards, switching the rest mode as a cost, like it always has to rest a card. And then when this card attacks, you play it to 1 yellow Bulma card with entry cost of 1 from your hand or drop, which is why we had that 1 drop in, because if you go into the Z lead and have to attack with this before, evolve into this before attacking with lead, you at least got a way to gain value, because remember that 1 drop Bulma is a cantrip. And then the activate battle is how we finish, like you can finish off games with this deck, which is activate battle once per turn. Place 1 of your Z energy in a zoner's drop and remove 1 Son Goku childhood card in your drop from the game. So you do need 3 Z energy for this, 2 for the Z-Awaken, and then 1 for this effect. And also you need to remove 1 Son Goku childhood card in your drop card from the game, so actually remove from the game, not just send it to warp. This card gets 10k power and double strike for the battle, and at the end of the battle remove this card from the game. So you do lose it after you've used that effect, but you're mainly going to use it as a finisher, so you need just the 3 Z energy and 2 Goku apes in your drop, which is very easy to pull off because your leader searches for them, so you can always combo them and Z-charge them so that they're ready to use from that as well. And it is you need 1 energy for it as well, but it's a nice way to evolve, because then you become a 30k base double strike, and then put on things like super combos and stuff like that, your secret rare, because you can just finish off with quite a big leader swing. And then the main focus of the Z deck being 4 copies of SSB Son Goku Evolved Defender. So this is the card I really like in this deck, because it's got the 2 skills that should be together, being Barrier and Deflect, so it's not got the ultimate protection being dropped, can't really be counterplayed, and it's got barriers, so it's protected for anything unless it gets through barrier by not choosing. It's a free cost of 5k and only requires 2 Z energy, so it's very easy to do. Remember, because every turn with your leader, when you're awakened, you can just swing with anything and then free combo a Earthling with only 5k combo power from your drop every turn. And it has a nice little stun, because remember, with your lead, you're swinging, resting one of your things like your Yamcha, resting all their cards on energy, including the leader. And this Goku has an effect when it's played, you can choose one of your opponent's leader, battle card, or unison cards in rest mode, and it can attack during your opponent's next turn. So you swing the lead, rest their lead, play this out, choose their lead, and their leader can't attack next turn. So if they've got an ult that needs them to attack to gain value, they can no longer do that in the next turn. And you keep repeating that every turn, because as long as you can get 2 Z energy, you just swing the lead, rest their lead, play another one of these, can't attack for the turn. You can do that 4 turns over and over and over again. And if they've got heavy reliance on their leader to swing to gain advantage, or don't gain advantage any other way, you're stopping that, and while amassing a board of 25k guys. That also have an effect in the second auto, which is if this card is in rest mode, when your opponent plays decides to play a battle, or when your opponent, if this card is in rest mode, when your opponent decides to play a battle card or your unison, you can place one card from your Z to your drop, and if you do, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it battle cards to unisons and switch it to rest mode. So if they play anything, you get to switch one of your battle cards to unisons in rest mode by sending a card from your Z energy to your drop, and then you negate this effect for the duration of the turn. So you just keep getting this card out, just like stopping the leader from attacking, and then swinging, and then you're getting a 25 each turn, even for and then potentially free playing those free drop Gokus from the unison, and just defending easier by these effects to protect himself, and also your blockers and stuff. So you keep establishing over and over again, stopping your opponent from attacking, getting resources, while just hitting them and dwindling theirs by making them defend your onslaught as well. And then the other 2 cards we got in the Z deck is 1 Vegeta for barrier removal, and just extra pressure as well, also for 2 Z energy, very easy to pull off. normally get this out if you drop after you've spent all of these Gokus. And you want Oolong for a good finisher, because remember you can always drop the if you drop the secret rare and a swing of it, you can always bring out Oolong to make it a 40k as well. It's a great finisher with the secret rare being a drop for free, and it's only costing 1 energy and 2 Z energy. So that's the Z deck. Then we go to the side. Now remember the side. Ooh, got that one. So we know one is Tyrannical Blow. But the side is also. Just remember, the side is also always subject to your own region or own meta. So like with the metas changing and different regions having different metas, it's the side deck. Don't just copy and paste it. Always change it to benefit you for your meta and stuff like that. Never just use the same one, because some cards in one region might not be as effective in another region. So do bear that in mind, and with different metas as well. Cards fall in and out of metas in viability. But I've got 2 copies of Trunks of Cunning. This to hit the Android 21. So when they drop their if they drop the 8 drop, they can't just restand 5 energy at the end of the turn. And also is a Earthling card you can always combo with. The only problem with this card is where it's a Saiyan Earthling, is not switchable from the Goku's front side, because it has to be an Earthling only, but Trunks is also half Saiyan, so you can't do it. But still a nice little cantrip to have with this to allow you to shut off any opponent wanting to untap energy in their turn. Then we've got 2 copies of Swift Retaliation Caller. If you feel you'll need to push through, if your opponent playing against a deck that's got loads of floodgates, and you feel you need to push a kill through, you can always main deck it. I don't feel this is main deck worthy, because you're not a deck that's trying to push through damage and be aggressive, push things through. You're trying to deny your opponent resources in stopping their leader from attacking stuff and grinding through advantage. So I would side maybe put this 1 in this, but I always like to put 2 in, because then it's got the issue of if it goes in your life and it's your last life, you're never going to see it. Then we got 2 copies of Son Goku Absolute Annihilation. So this one I like to have, because it's got that barrier deflect, and it's just nice to shut off extra cards. So your opponents rely on it, taps out and rely on an extra card to defend themselves. Drop this down, and they're not going to be able to do that, which is great. Does require free energy, but then as you're grinding out resources, stop your opponent from actually trying to do anything. You're trying to grind out the right resources. You don't mind slow rolling over time and dropping this to then make it just harder for them to finish, stop your kill turn. So 2 copies of this, and it's also a 0 cost 5k, so it's not going to be dead in your hand at any point. We've got 2 copies of Smoke Dragon. This is to deal with Unison Hate or barrier removal, because the barrier removal in this deck is more in the Vegeta in the Z deck, in the main deck, and if you side in, Black Smoke's nice to just mainly deal with Unisons, and also deal with anything, because it also warps the card. So if you've got a card that can't be KO'd, but has barrier and stuff like that, then it's nice to deal with it. And only 2 copies of it, because you don't need it too often. It just depends if you it's more for dealing with small Unisons, and your barrier removal if you need just 2, or even a draw 2 as well. You've got Jiren's World of Fierce, because Turning the Tide is still not banned. It's still a card in the format, and a bullshit card still. So you got to have 1 copy, and because this is a deck that can go quite late, you don't want to get punished by that card. So we're running 1 Jiren in the side, so you can not get punished by it. We've also got Secret Identity, so you can switch out your overwhelms. So if you feel like Secret Identity would be in a better shout for, or a better choice for an overwhelm instead of a matchup, you can switch out for SS4 or leave SS4. And if you don't feel like Secret Identity is going to be useful in that matchup, then we got 2 copies of the World Champion. If you get hit with hand control, which is a deck in the format, and it's a deck that still will be in the format, then this nice card is a nice little extra card that adds to Mecha, and it's just it's very easy to get a Goku in play, and if you do, if you've got Goku charged in play, you just get to draw 2 cards. So it's nice to deal with hand control, giving yourself a way to just draw 2 cards for 1 energy to you get your hand back up, which is quite handy. You put more in if you feel like you hate hand control and want it more, but yeah, this is just for hand control. Then we've got an extra copy of Tyrannical Blow if you feel like you need to deal with floodgates and stuff. Then there you go, you have Tyrannical Blow to help deal with that. Just hit very good ones. Just as I said, there's some cards that it can't hit, or some cards that don't have the effect on the auto. It's in the counterplay. So unless you stop the card from being played, that has it in the counterplay, the counter part of the skill, then this isn't gonna hit it. This more hits the ones that have the floodgate in the auto and stuff. And then the last card is 2 Final Flash, because sometimes you might want effect negation mid-combat instead of from using Release from Evil to hit it on the attack. or from Sin, like if they get rid of Sin and then things after, because sometimes people get skills that happen during a battle. Final Flash is a nice little one to stop at mid-battle and also get a boost by 15k as well, because you're not going to charge anything that isn't yellow. So I feel this card comes in and out of the meta, it comes out of usability, but I just like to have it in the side. So once again, I like to side some things that I feel will be useful in the matchup over some of the cards that are probably better in the main. So you can switch them out and have the flexibility, because most formats now are either best of 1 pre-side or best of 3. So you've always got flexibility in siding. So that is the deck. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have any suggestions or any questions. I'll answer them as best as I can. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.